A trustee foreclosure occurs when a property is sold to satisfy a debt. In most cases, this means that a homeowner has not made their mortgage payments. The holder of the mortgage sells the property at an auction in an attempt to satisfy the remaining balance on the mortgage. Most mortgage foreclosures are handled by trustees. These trustees are hired professionals that handle the foreclosure process for banks and other parties. In Harris County, many of these trustees can handle scores, if not hundreds, of foreclosures every month. You must also be aware of the party conducting the foreclosure proceedings. What I mean by this is that the liens on a property have a hierarchy which generally depends upon their date of filing. A mortgage is generally in first position, which means that should the holder of the mortgage foreclose, they will wipe out or negate the other liens on the property which are inferior to it. However, if an inferior lien forecloses, the higher lien remains in place. For example, if a contractor forecloses on a property because his mechanic's lien was not paid, and you buy the property at an auction, you may now be the owner of the property, but there may be a pre-existing mortgage still remaining. Another example of this is a foreclosure by a homeowners association on a house with a mortgage. If the homeowner does not pay their dues, the association has the right to foreclose, and the property may be offered for sale at auction. An investor may be impressed that he or she can purchase a home at the auction for only a few $1,000s, only to find out that they in fact purchased a home that still has a mortgage to pay. If that mortgage is not paid, the holder of that mortgage has the right to foreclose and resell this property at yet another auction. Meanwhile, cold beers are still being served at the association's clubhouse, bought with your money. One hears stories from time to time that someone thinks they have purchased a home at an auction in the morning from a homeowners association, only to find out that the mortgage foreclosure is being held later that same day. The morning investor is the owner for about 4 hours. This is not a good return. The trustee promises to follow all points of the law, very important, inform all necessary parties, to publicize the sale of the auction so that other investors can become interested in purchasing the property, and to conduct the auction in a process which is legally appropriate. Third-party companies collect this information from all of the trustees and publish all of the information in the form of a foreclosure list. A common strategy for investors to identify potential properties in which they would invest would be to purchase this foreclosure list and examine it closely for properties on track for foreclosure. These investors can contact the owners of these properties and make a deal to purchase the property in question. This is a rather risky strategy to identify properties because the investors and the homeowners are both playing a game of beat the clock. The property in question is due to be sold at the auction of the first Tuesday of the next month. The investor only has that time to do the following: find the property, negotiate a price, get agreement with the owner, find a title company, arrange financing, inspect the property, and cure any title problems. This is not a lot of time to accomplish all of this, and the trustees are not likely to delay the foreclosure proceedings in order to give the investor or the owner any more time to complete the foregoing. An investor can invest significant time and effort into a property only to find that he or she cannot cure the title problems in time, and the property goes through the foreclosures and another investor purchases it at the auction. All of the time and money invested is wasted. However, a savvy investor such as yourself can accomplish title searches, legal research, tracking, and contacting owners in a matter of a few minutes, which would typically take others weeks to accomplish. I will be sharing these strategies shortly. From time to time, the property actually makes it to the auction and no one bids on the property. In a situation such as this, the bank is now the owner of the property and you can buy it directly from them. These properties are called REOs, which stands for real estate owned. These types of properties also represent a way for an investor to purchase multiple properties at the same time. If the investor has very good credit or can find a private source of funds, he or she can make an offer to purchase multiple properties from the bank at one time. An investor may specialize in doing short sales. A short sale can be described as purchasing a property while convincing a bank or other lien holder to accept less money than they are due. In other words, you can purchase a property on which the current balance on the mortgage is $100,000. If that value is too much to close a deal, the investor can try to have the bank agree to settle for less, say $90,000, giving you enough room in which to make the deal work. In truth, this can be a very complicated, lengthy, and frustrating process. It is not unusual for this process to take several months during any time the bank can say no and foreclose on the property.